Imagine stepping back into the 1990s. While most of the world was embracing a new era of technology and optimism, one nation was spiraling into a nightmare of darkness and hunger. In North Korea, the government called it the Arduous March. The rest of the world would come to know it as one of the most devastating famines of the 20th century. What happens when a country deliberately starves its own people? It all began with the perfect storm of disaster. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, it was like a lifeline was severed for North Korea. This was their main source of aid, trade, and crucial resources like fuel and fertilizer. Suddenly it was all gone. As if on cue, nature turned against them. A series of catastrophic floods and droughts wiped out what little crops they had. The country's food production system, already fragile, completely imploded. But this wasn't just a story of bad luck or poor harvests. This was a man-made catastrophe. Faced with a nationwide crisis, the regime under Kim Jong-il made a chilling choice. Instead of seeking help or admitting weakness, they doubled down on their military-first policy. Precious resources that could have fed millions were poured into the armed forces, into weapons, and into maintaining the illusion of strength. The government refused to acknowledge the scale of the disaster. State propaganda worked overtime, painting a picture of unity and resilience. They called the famine a temporary hardship and urged citizens to eat only 2 meals a day, but for millions, even one meal was a distant dream. The reality on the ground was a descent into hell. People were stripped of their humanity, forced to eat whatever they could find. Grass, tree bark, corn husks, and even dirt became sources of sustenance. Desperate families sold every last possession, their furniture, their clothes, their wedding rings, all for just a handful of rice to quiet a child's cries for one more night. The stories that trickled out were the stuff of nightmares. Whispers of desperate people resorting to the most unthinkable acts to survive began to circulate. These accounts were never officially confirmed, buried deep under a thick blanket of fear and state control, but they paint a terrifying picture of just how far people were pushed. The regime's priority was not its people's survival, but its own. Suffering was silenced. While children were collapsing from hunger in the streets, the mandatory daily polishing of the Kim family portraits continued. Grandiose military parades marched on, a grotesque spectacle of power while a nation wasted away. Getting help into the country was a monumental challenge. Foreign aid was severely restricted and controlled. Journalists were banned, and the truth of the famine was aggressively hidden from the outside world. For North Koreans, escape was not an option. Anyone caught trying to flee to China faced brutal punishment, imprisonment, or even death. They were trapped in a nationwide prison of hunger. To this day, the true death toll remains a horrifying mystery. Because of the regime's secrecy, exact numbers are impossible to verify. Estimates range from a few 100,000 to a staggering 3.5 million people. A generation was lost. A nation starved in silence, its suffering deliberately erased by its own leaders. The Great Famine of North Korea is a harrowing lesson in more than just history or politics. It's a profound story about the chilling consequences of absolute control, the danger of ideology placed above human life, and the terrifying power of secrecy. It stands as a dark and somber reminder that sometimes the deadliest weapon isn't a bomb or a bullet, but the cold, calculated deprivation of food. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into the events that have shaped our world.